your ancestor woke up to silence. No notification, no ping, no screen demanding his eyes the moment consciousness returned. He opened his eyes and heard wind, birds, the crackle of a dying fire. His brain, at that moment, was completely his own. Now, think about this morning. Before your feet touched the floor, your thumb was already moving. That gap, between his morning and yours, is not just a lifestyle difference. It is a neurological revolution that happened in less than 2 decades, and your brain was never asked if it was ready. In the last video, we talked about brain rot. We talked about what it looks like, what it feels like, and why it's happening. Thousands of you said one sign hit harder than the rest. You recognized yourself. So now we go deeper. Because understanding the problem is only half the work. Today we talk about the fix. But first, let's go back. Way back. Because to understand what dopamine detox actually does, you need to understand what your brain was designed for. Part 1. The brain. Your ancestors built for roughly 300,000 years. The human brain evolved inside a world of scarcity. Food was scarce. Safety was scarce. Information was scarce. Your ancestor didn't scroll through options for breakfast. He hunted for it. He tracked it for hours across cold ground, heart pounding, mind locked in total focus. When he finally caught it, dopamine. A massive, earned, real reward signal flooded his brain, and that signal said, "Remember what you did. Do it again. It works." That's what dopamine was built for. Not entertainment. Survival. Dopamine is not the pleasure chemical. That's a myth. Dopamine is the anticipation and drive chemical. It is what pushes you toward a goal. The reward is just the confirmation that the effort was worth it. Neuroscientist Kent Berridge at the University of Michigan spent decades separating 2 systems inside the brain, the wanting system and the liking system. And what he found changes everything. Dopamine drives wanting, not liking. You can want something desperately and feel nothing when you get it. That's not weakness. That's your dopamine system operating exactly as designed, pushing you toward the next thing, always the next thing. Your ancestor wanted food, then shelter, then connection. One need at a time, deeply felt, fully earned. Now ask yourself, what does your brain want right now? Not one thing, dozens, simultaneously, instantly. That is not how this system was built. Part 2. What happened to the signal? In 2004, the average human attention span was 12 seconds. By 2015, it had dropped to 8. A goldfish holds attention for 9. We lost the competition to a goldfish. And it wasn't an accident. It was engineering. The average smartphone user touches their phone 2,617 times per day. On heavy use days, that number crosses 5,000. Each touch is a small dopamine trigger. Each swipe is a tiny pull of a slot machine lever. Dr. Anna Lembke, psychiatrist at Stanford University and author of Dopamine Nation, describes it this way. We have flooded the pleasure-pain balance inside the brain. For every high, the brain compensates with a low, and the lows are getting deeper. Here is what's actually happening inside your skull. Every time you get a fast dopamine hit, a new video, a like, a notification, your brain releases a counter signal, a dampening agent. The technical term is delta phos-B accumulation. Over time, repeated fast stimulation causes your brain to downregulate dopamine receptors. It literally removes the machinery that receives reward signals. The result? You need more stimulus to feel the same level of satisfaction. Normal life stops registering as rewarding. Real effort, slow progress, deep conversation, all of it falls below the threshold your brain now requires to feel anything at all. Your ancestor would not recognize this feeling. He never experienced a world that overfed his reward system. Every hit of dopamine in his life was earned, spaced out, and meaningful. Yours arrive every 8 seconds. That is the core of the problem. And here is the question that should keep you up at night. If your brain keeps adapting downward, where does it stop? Part 3. The detox. What it actually is. The term dopamine detox was popularized by psychiatrist Cameron Sepa in 2019, and it was immediately misunderstood by the internet. It does not mean sitting in a dark room feeling nothing. It does not mean deleting your entire life. It means this: deliberately and temporarily removing high stimulation inputs so your brain's dopamine baseline can return to a natural level. Think of it like this. If you've been eating pure sugar for 2 years, a normal meal tastes like nothing. You have to step away from sugar long enough for your taste buds to recalibrate. Then, real food becomes satisfying again. That is what a dopamine detox does for your brain. And the science behind it is real. A 2018 study published in JAMA Psychiatry found that reducing digital stimulation for as little as 1 week produced measurable improvements in focus, mood, and impulse control. Dr. Lembke's clinical work shows that a full neurological reset requires approximately 4 weeks of reduced dopamine input. But here's the important part. You don't start with 4 weeks. You start with 1 hour. Part 4. The steps, how to actually do it. Step 1. Identify your triggers. Before you detox anything, you have to know what's running the system. For most people, the top 3 dopamine triggers are short-form video, social media feeds, and instant messaging. These are not inherently evil. They are just fast. And fast is the enemy of a recalibrated brain. Take 1 day, just one. Every time you reach for your phone without a specific reason, write it down. Don't stop yourself. Just document it. You will be disturbed by what you find. Most people reach for their phone between 80 and 150 times per day without any conscious intention. Awareness is the first lever. You cannot pull away from something you haven't fully seen. Step 2. Create friction. Your ancestor did not have a slot machine in his pocket. You do. And the reason it works so well is that it costs you nothing to pick it up. You need to make it cost something, not money. Effort. Put your phone in another room when you sleep. Remove social media apps from your home screen and bury them in folders. Turn off all non-essential notifications. Set your screen to grayscale. This alone has been shown in research from the University of Pennsylvania to reduce phone use by up to 37%. You are not banning yourself. You are adding small amounts of resistance between you and the behavior. Your brain, given the slightest pause, will often choose differently. Step 3. Replace. Don't just remove. This is where most people fail. They try to quit cold. They sit in silence and feel unbearable discomfort, and they break within hours. The reason is simple. You cannot leave a vacuum in a brain that has been running at high stimulation. You must replace fast dopamine with slow dopamine. Slow dopamine sources: physical exercise, reading physical books, cooking, walking without headphones, creating something with your hands, journaling, having a real conversation with no phones present. These feel unrewarding at first. That is the withdrawal. The brain, accustomed to instant hits, rejects slow inputs like a body rejecting organ transplant. Push through it. The recalibration is happening beneath the surface, whether you feel it or not. Your ancestor didn't need a podcast to make a walk feel worth taking. That capacity still exists inside you. It just needs silence to return. Step 4. Schedule stimulation windows. This is the sustainable version of a dopamine detox, not elimination. Scheduling. Designate specific windows for high stimulation content. 2 30-minute blocks per day, for example. Outside those windows, the fast content simply doesn't exist. This reintroduces something your ancestors' brain understood deeply: anticipation. When you know the reward is coming at a specific time, your dopamine system re-engages with it properly. The content feels more satisfying. And more importantly, everything outside those windows stops feeling like deprivation. You are not fighting the system. You are restructuring your relationship with it. Step 5. Protect the morning and the night. These are the 2 most neurologically vulnerable hours of your day. In the morning, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for focus, planning, and self-control, takes approximately 90 minutes to fully activate after waking. If you flood it with fast content before it's online, you are essentially running your entire day on a brain that never properly booted up. Your ancestor's morning was quiet by default. Make yours quiet by choice. The first 60 minutes belong to your brain, not your feed. At night, screen light suppresses melatonin production and keeps cortisol elevated, your stress hormone. But more than the physical effect, checking your phone before sleep means your last dopamine input of the day is artificial and fast. Your brain tries to process it during sleep and fails. You wake up tired. You wake up already craving. End the day as your ancestor ended his. Darkness. Stillness. A brain that is allowed to close its own loop. Part 5. What happens when you do this week? 1 is the hardest. You will feel bored in a way that feels almost painful. You will feel like you're missing something. You will reach for your phone and find friction and feel a flash of genuine anger. That anger is important. It is the first real evidence that you were dependent, not just habituated. By week 2, something shifts. The silence starts to feel less threatening. Your thoughts, which once scattered across 12 tabs simultaneously, begin to settle. You start finishing sentences, not just in speech, but in thought. Dr. Gloria at the University of California, Irvine, found that after a distraction, the average person takes 23 minutes to return to full focus. After 2 weeks of reduced digital stimulation, that recovery time drops measurably. By week 4, you will notice things your ancestor noticed every day without thinking about it. The way a problem actually feels when you sit with it long enough. The way a conversation deepens when neither person is looking at a screen. The way your own mind, given space and silence, produces ideas that no algorithm would ever have served you. Your focus returns. Not perfectly. Not permanently. It requires maintenance. But it returns. And here is the thing that changes everything. You will realize that you were not lazy. You were not weak. You were not broken. You were simply operating in an environment designed to hijack the most powerful system in your body, and nobody told you it was happening. Your ancestor did not need discipline to protect his attention. His world protected it for him. You live in a different world, which means the discipline has to come from you. The man who reclaims his attention reclaims his life, one silent morning at a time.